Hi everybody, Yarn Fairy here. Just wanted to share with you a difficult section on chart 2 of Titania. This is basically what we're making. We're making elongated stitches so that the bugle beads don't have any chance of cutting through the fibers. I wanted to make sure that after I'd heard a couple of people concerned that maybe that would be a problem. So I've already started on it because I didn't want to take up a lot of your time. This is row 67. In this row, I highly recommend that you place a stitch marker. I gave you 50. There's just 24 needed every 13 stitches. This way, when you get to the end of the row, after you worked all of your beads and everything, you're not like, I'm short 5 stitches or whatever. Okay, so as another thing that I want to show is on row 69, we're beginning to slip stitches. When you begin to slip stitches, I want you to elongate that stitch as far out as you possibly can get it. And also remember, we knit the knits, purl the purls. What do we do with the slips? We slip them. You don't purl them or knit them on the wrong side. You're just going to slip them. I've already placed the beads on these stitches. It doesn't say that you're to bead them, but that's the whole point of this chart, is that we're making my Pixie. And this is a very icky drawing, but see the long lines? These lines here are what we're making, and it's a little pixie or a dandelion puff or whatever you want it to be. A couple of tips: keep your beads. These aren't bugles obviously, but I couldn't use my cobweb and size 2 needles for this demonstration. For this demonstration purposes, these are bugle beads. Keep them in a zipper bag. Put several into your tray or whatever you use to hold your beads. And then you can put many onto, as many as will fit, onto your hook, and then stand that up in a shot glass, and they're always ready for you when you need them. Okay, this is the row that is difficult because I had to omit so much information such as you're placing beads on the elongated stitches, and the beaded stitches are traveling. So the first thing row 73 says to do is, with yarn in front, slip 4 stitches. But what it doesn't say is that this elongated stitch that we've been making is dropped off in the front of the work, because it's going to move from stitch number 2 all the way over to stitch number 5. So we're at the yarn in front. We're going to slip 4. That was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bead number, or stitch number 2, doesn't count. Okay, now we're going to place the bead on the yarn, and in order to get this so that you can see, the bugle would, if it was staying there and if that was the end of it, that would be quite the problem. But what we're going to do is bring the yarn, sort of like a haystack, we're going to bring it to the back of the work, because that's the direction it wants to go in, and I don't want to fight with it. Then we're going to bring it to the front of the work, still with this stitch number 2 hanging down in the back there. Now he just goes where he wants to go. Now we're going to knit this stitch. Okay, and actually we have to knit, in order to keep the stitch count the same, because we're not increasing on this chart, we have to knit this together with this guy. So we're just going to make sure that the elongated stitch with the bugle bead on it is in the front. So however it takes you to get that. Okay, now you can see I have a nice long horizontal stitch that has my bugle bead on it that can move as far as it wants, and it's definitely not going to cut the yarn or abuse the yarn in any way. Okay, now our stitch number 2 comes back into play. I love these cable needles because you can just use them. So it doesn't say it, but you're to bead that stitch. I've already done it for you so that we don't waste too much time. And then you're going to knit that stitch. The next one you've been elongating is stitch 6. Bead it, knit it. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite for this side. We're going to take the first 4 stitches off with the yarn in front. Actually, we've got this guy again. And I've got nothing left to work with. So I'm just going to grab the cap of a pen that I happen to have sitting here. You know, you could probably, because it's, you know what, let's try it. Because this thing is beaded, and it's like long, I don't think it's going anywhere. Let's drop stitch number 10 off the needle, and let's just work on our 4 stitches, which we're going to haystack and get vertical with. First thing we're going to do is bead the working yarn. And you can see it wants to go that way, towards the left. Wait, no, it's going to go towards the right. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap all 4 stitches. And if you need this hook, I'm pretty sure we have these in stock, and they'd be on the Knitting Notions page. Okay, so there we have our stitches. Our 4 stitches are wrapped, they're slipped, and I'm just going to knit that. You know what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to get these puppies back onto the needle because they were just slipped. Contrary to what I told you earlier, we're not going to slip those stitches when we get to them next. We're going to knit them because they're not real slip stitches. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. 11, 12, 13. I didn't use... I always like to count because I want to forget things because I have short-term memory loss. I do. Okay, so the thing that I was supposed to do was use this, work this onto number 7. This is now stitch number 7, and here's our working yarn. So I'm just going to pick that up and knit that stitch. Okay? And it's okay because you don't have to drop things back when you make mistakes. You just have to figure out how to fix them. And as you can see, that bugle bead, it's got... excuse me. It's got a lot of room to move on that stitch. I do not think we're going to have trouble with this bead. And even if it does get down there, it still can't cut it because it's on this elongated stitch. I think it's perfect. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and this last one, we're supposed to end with 2 stitches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these 2 together. That's the 4th stitch that it says to slip. As a matter of fact, I think I might make that a slip knit or a K2 tog or something. I might change my chart a little bit. You might not see what I see. Anyway, here's the last 2 stitches, and we still have 13 stitches on the needle. Now, one thing that it does show on stitch 6, it shows a bead on row 73. I wanted to put a bead in the center of our little, excuse me, I'm doodling. I wanted to put the 3mm. My camera. Oh joy. What dost thou focus on? What dost thou not focus on? Okay, so I wanted to put this big bead in the center of that. I wanted the 3mm to go there, and the way we're going to have to do that is on the wrong side. So you might want to mark the center stitch, but we're just going to go over to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's number 8. So this stitch right here, I would place the bead on. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to do it so that you can see how cute it's going to look. And yeah, I don't have the 3mm beads. Even if I did, it wouldn't fit onto these. Anyway, and we're going to purl him. Sorry about the magnifying glass. I had to get rid of it because I think it was focusing on like dents and dings in it. Yeah, you never know. And my stuff, it just gets thrown around so bad. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is just, it's just nice. It's gonna look so amazing in the shawl. Okay, so there's our center bead, and it's in the center because we put it on in the back. So now what we're gonna do, row 75 and 77 are identical. You knit 4, and then these 3 stitches in the center again, you're going to slip them. So I'm going to elongate as far as I can get that stitch and hold it there. Elongate. Now this is the same piece of yarn back there, so it's going to be pretty hard to keep these guys elongated. Make the next stitch loose, because that way it could help to elongate those stitches. We want to keep them long because, again, they're going to move. I think I might have enough room in the chart to actually put the cable in at the top, so we won't have such trouble finding them. Anyway, we go back to the center, and we slip the 3 stitches. Knit the knits, purl the purls, slip the slips. Unless you have to bead the slip, in which case you bead it. Okay, so you guys remember this, right? This stitch number 5 is going to eventually become stitch number 2. You just put them back in the same place as the bottom ones were initially at. And it's pretty easy to see and to keep track of. I don't even think you guys are going to need a chart for this one once you get it down. This is the furthest I've gone in this video. I think I've been doing this for 3 hours trying to get a 4-minute video out. And I'm finally pulling yarn out of the ball. I didn't intend to go this far. I just wanted to stop and show you what I had, but and I was stopping after that one row, but it just makes more sense to show you the whole thing while I'm doing this. And I think I finally got a decent shot. You should have seen some of the ones were so blurry and out of focus and not in frame. That's my big one, as you all know, not in frame. This time I have a light, so it's kind of holding me into place here. Okay, so I just said we're going to put it back on number 2. Here's my cable. So I'm going to drop, let's see, I need to drop 1, 2, 3 stitches. And then this was the thing you also didn't get to see last time, was you didn't get to see me beading these slipped stitches. Sorry, I'm going lower and lower because I knew it. I knew I was going to lose that stitch. Okay, so you bead it, you knit it, then you knit the stitches off your cable needle. I have these, I think, in straight as well as crooked. I like them both. They both have their uses. I'm sorry, you guys. I really didn't know that we were going to need cable needles. And probably a lot of you are not going to need them. I don't know. We're dealing with size 00s. Get real, Wendy. We're dealing with tiny, tiny needles, tiny, tiny beads. And y'all are probably going to need something to hold it down. Okay, so here is the middle bugle bead. Ha ha ha. And then the last one is going to move from stitch number 7 position over to stitch number 10. So we're going to knit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, is that right? That looks right. And then we're going to bead this stitch. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't figure out if it was 3 or 4. Okay, and now we have the last stitches. And we're done. That is your pixie stitch. Of course, I have another row of plain knitting just to segregate this section off. But how amazing is that? I mean, I think once you have knitting on this side that this will stay in place. I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I literally have tried everything and then some. I started by working in the round. I pulled out most of the stuff that I did. These horizontal stitches, as you can see, I sort of had it here, but I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I kept trying and I kept trying and I kept trying until I was happy with this one, and that turned into that. Yep, it's official. I'm in love. And can you see this? Can you imagine what it's going to look like with bugles and, I think he'll be okay. With bugles and just on the cobweb and everything, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm wondering if we should push them up towards the top so that they all come out as a spoke, or if we should push them up. You know, I guess that's going to be a matter of personal choice, whether you push them down or push them up to be furthest away from the center of the dust ball. I love this. This is so pretty. Okay, you guys, I gotta get to knitting. You have no idea. It's been like months since I've been able to pick up Titania because I've been so busy with call and Afghans and I don't know what everybody's been ordering. It's just been crazy insane. And then all those surgeries and doctor's appointments are just keeping me down. So yeah, nobody can hold me down for long. Enjoy, y'all. Bye.